Good evening. I would like to call to order the Gateway School Board School Directors Meeting. Tonight is a study session meeting for Tuesday, August 13th, 2019. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May we have a roll call, Bonnie?
Yes. Mr. Bova.
Here.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Here.
Mr. Gottman.
Here.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Here.
Mr. McIntyre.
Here.
Mrs. Neely. Here. Mr. Ritter.
Here.
Mrs. Warning. Here. Mr. Williams.
Here.
Thank you. Are there any comments from residents on agenda items? Anybody
No
sign
one
up?
signed up.
Does there anyone in the audience wish to comment on agenda items?
Cheryl Boyce, Monroeville. I want to say I'm beyond thrilled, and I know you guys get a lot of heat for a lot of things, that you have a behavior specialist on this list of staff people. If no one understands what that is, that's critical. Is this person working just with the teachers, or is this person working with the students too?
We actually have two.
You have
one
two?
For elementary,
Yes.
one for
You're going to have,
secondary.
is it on here? I just saw the
Yes,
one.
one's a transfer. It's
One's
one
a
of our
transfer.
existing-
I think this is highly significant. I mean, we can do all kinds of other programs, and if you don't deal with the behaviors, I think today, school districts, if you don't have a behavioral specialist on staff, it's a huge, huge mistake. Last year you put on the social worker? You added
Second
one?
one.
Yes.
Parents don't get how important those positions are, so thank you for the social worker last year, and the fact that you're having behavioral specialists. I have a daughter who's a behavioral specialist. This is absolutely critical in 2019.
Mrs. Bungard, are you able to give a quick synopsis of the two positions and what they will be offering
I
our
think the
students?
public needs to understand
Yes.
that. Thank you.
Yes.
Do that. This year we will have two positive behavior support specialists, a K-6 and a 7th through 12th grade one, and they will both be working with the students, also with the staff. They will be going in the classrooms. They'll also be working in our emotional support classroom to obviously look at enhancing our programs and our supports for students with behaviors, and we'll be looking at across the district.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else wish to address the board? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to section B. Mr. Schott, financial reports.
Section B this evening, we're presenting sections B1 list of bills. We have included July 2019, which was previously approved by the board. We're just acknowledging the very list of bills that we had sent out, so they're into the minutes. And we have our new list of section B1 bills for the month of August 2019, followed by our section B2 monthly financial statements, the month of June 2019, and the month of July 2019. We present all those items this evening for the board's review.
Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Schott this evening? Okay, seeing none. Section C, items previously tabled, we have none, so we'll move on to section D. We do have some action items this evening. I'll let you take it away, Mrs. Crump.
Mrs. Crump.
Thank you, Ms. Cerrucci. We do have two agendas this evening, one action and one non. But before I do start with the action items, I do feel that I need to thank all of our administrative team and all of our principals. For the last 4 weeks, we have looked at 616 applications, done over 152 actual interviews to get to the people that we present tonight. And we do feel that we have a great candidates that we've given to you with vast experiences from right out of college to 14, 15 years. Some from the Peace Corps, some are adjunct professors. So we're really pleased with the candidates that we're giving, but we would not have been able to do that without all the help from our principals and our staff.
And I would second that, and also thanks to you and the administration, the assistant superintendents, Dr. Short, you, Mrs. Crump, you've all done a lot of interviews. A lot of people were off the month of July, but you guys certainly were not, so we are appreciative.
We got it in. So we will start with our action items. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School District accepts and approves the personnel agenda items as listed in Section D for the study session meeting. Under employment, we are recommending 6 teacher contracts. Under temporary teacher positions, these are all 1-year long-term sub positions. We have 12 listed. 2 we just had to add on today due to enrollment. We are checking enrollment numbers daily. We also have 4 paraprofessionals that we've added to our list and 2 substitute food service workers. I do have Two changes, though, Bonnie, and I apologize. We had just one phone call from one of our substitutes who just got her master's and presented that. So for Kara Jenkins, that is instead of it's on page 4. Instead of bachelor step 2, that's going to be master step 2.
Gotcha, thanks.
Can I have a motion to
She
approve?
finished her master's, right?
She
Yeah,
did
master's.
finish her master's, emailed it to me.
Good.
Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second? Second by Mrs. Neely. Questions, comments for Mrs. Crump?
Yes. Can I ask a question? A lot of, I've noticed the elementaries have a lot of one-year positions. Is this solely because increase in population, or?
It's not solely because of increase. We do have a lot that are from that. Under our current teacher contract, it's how the staffing has started. When we have one-year positions, last year we added on 4 kindergarten positions because we needed that. Those then transferred now to one-year positions, so they've become bubbled positions. That's something that we would like to look at with the next contract, to be able to make those contracted positions so we have consistency. Otherwise, you're going to keep on seeing this many long-term subs from year after year. We do have several that are on leaves that are through that too.
Yeah, I noticed that, but, okay. I was just curious because I saw a lot of elementary positions.
We've added quite a few in the last 3 weeks.
Our kindergarten last year, which was first grade this year, was one of the highest we've had in years. It was probably approaching 285 students. So it's the last hour, we had to add 3 or 4 positions.
Great.
So we're starting to see that influx. Currently, right now, for kindergarten, which does include the 2 positions we've added, one at Evergreen, one at CSE.
And it's nice to see that some of these are gateway grads.
Yes.
Yes,
It's
there
good
are
that
some.
they're coming back home.
Anyone else? Roll call.
Mrs. Cerrucci.
Aye.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mrs. Neely.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning. Mr. Williams.
Aye.
Mr. Bova.
I, with the exception of Gabrielle Kuster, I'm going to abstain. That's my niece. Pretty much raised her from a child. No, I'm just kidding. She is my niece. Wonderful addition, but just to be safe.
I was like, really?
We did not know that. We will add that.
Okay, motion carries. Congratulations to all our new teachers. And we can go on to section D, the discussion items, when you're ready.
Discussions item for the next agenda under resignations, we have 3. We have 2 leave of absence presented to date. Under transfers per each of the collective bargaining agreements, you will see 6. We have an employment contract, supplemental contracts, resignation, and issuances. And we also have additional volunteers.
Anybody have any questions?
Will you be replacing the nurse, the staff nurse?
Yes, we will be. Luckily, we have a floater nurse. That's something that we implemented last year, so she will be there to help start off with school until we get the other person added on.
Anyone else? Okay, seeing none. Section E. We don't have any conferences or conventions. Section F, administrative resolutions, including action item, Dr. Short.
First, Mr. Schott.
Dr. Short? Yes, this evening we have 2 action items for Section F. Resolved that the Gateway Board of School Directors approves and authorizes the following items 1 and 2 listed in Section F, Administration Report, Action Agenda, at a study session meeting of Tuesday, August 13, 2019. Specifically, item number 1, approve the increase in the prices of the applicable a la carte food items for the district's food service department during the 19-20 fiscal year as depicted in Exhibit A. And item number 2, approve the AIU sponsor contract to provide meals for both the Head Start and Pre-K Counts programs at Evergreen Elementary and Mosside Middle School for the 2019-2020 school year as depicted in Exhibit B.
Can I have a motion?
Second.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? None, roll call.
Mr. Gottman.
Aye.
Mr. Lapsevich.
Aye.
Mr. McIntyre.
Aye.
Mrs. Neely.
Aye.
Mr. Ritter.
Aye.
Mrs. Warning. Mr. Williams?
Aye.
Mr. Bova?
Aye.
Mrs. Cerucci?
Aye. Motion carries. Section F, items for discussion.
Elementary, Dr. Rossi.
3 elementary items. Number 1 is the annual software renewal for EduPlanet 21. Item number 2 is to partner with Siemens Corporation, Educators and Corporations Partnership for STEM Learning for the 1920 school year, as depicted in Exhibit B, and a Title I agreement for non-public schools, third-party providers. We're still reviewing those. We'll have one for next week.
Special ed.
Thank you, Ms. Ritchie. We have one consultation agreement to approve the agreement with English Language Starts LLC to perform consulting services to the Gateway School District to assist the district ESL program. It's a contract for the 2019-2020 school year in the amount of $6,000, and it's depicted in Exhibit C.
Dr. Shea.
For secondary, we have 3 facility agreements, one with Premier Performing Arts, USA Swim Meet, hosted by the Marlins, and the PIFAI Tambouritzes.
Mr. Shaw.
Bat cleanup.
Yep.
Item number 5, this is an annual approval in regards to Title I federal funds. Approved and certified that procedures listed below will be followed in regards to Title I funds during the 1920 fiscal year. Improving America's School Act of 1994, which reauthorized the Elementary and Secondary Education Act of 1965, mandates that a LEA may receive Title I funds only if it implements programs, activities, and procedures for the involvement of parents. This improvement and implementation must follow the guidelines listed below. 1, parent involvement activities and procedures must be planned and implemented with meaningful consultation of parents and participating children. Item number 2, the consultation must be organized, systematic, ongoing, informative, and timely in relation to decisions about this program. And item number 3, the activities and procedures must be of sufficient size, scope, and quality to give reasonable promise of substantial progress toward achieving the goals. Item number 6 is to recognize the following district booster clubs and support organizations who have properly submitted applications to the district for a 1920 fiscal year as depicted. Please note the above groups do not represent all the district's booster clubs and support organizations for the 1920 fiscal year. Additional booster clubs and support organizations will be presented for approval later in the 1920 fiscal year by season and as they properly submit their complete applications to the district. And we expect to probably add a couple more names to this list prior to next week's regular board meeting. Item number 7, approve the Tri-Cog Land Bank's Notice of Intent to Acquire Future National Community Stabilization Trust, or NCST, real estate-owned REO properties through the NCST REO Acquisition Program located within the Gateway School District without additional notice of intent to acquire as depicted in Exhibit D. Please note the district is a member of the Tri-Cog Land Bank. The above approval represents a pre-approval of the acquisition of future available NCST REO properties located within the Gateway School District. The approval of the above notice provides the Tri-Cog Land Bank with the ability to acquire the available properties more quickly before they are marketed more broadly by the banks.
Great. Questions or comments?
Question. The ESL teachers, how many do we presently have with this one, this time? Just one? We have 3. We have 3? Okay.
Anyone else?
Also, Mr. Schott, with this Tri-Cog, have we seen any properties that have been sold that have benefited the district?
They haven't sold any yet. They're still in acquisition and renovation mode for those various properties. So that process is building and building the inventory up and getting those ready to go. But my understanding, based on some previous correspondence, I don't believe they've sold any properties as of yet. But again, they're building up inventory and renovating those properties. So again, down the road, we expect to see some of that turnover with those as well, and hopefully get some additional families in the district as well, and have some additional students coming to our school.
Okay, because I, on my own, pulled up what Tri-Cog has looked at, and the amount of properties between Pitcairn and Monroeville are minimal compared to the other properties. So I'm just wondering, is it feasible to stay in the program? And that was, my question. I've talked with other individuals, not through district, but I know some of them are pulling out
that was my question when I had asked you, how much we have put out, and you said to date that we put out 49,000, like close to 49.
Approximately 50,000.
Close to 50,000.
Past 3 years.
Correct. So I just wondered, is that something to look at? Is it something to stay in? Is it a good investment? That's what I was looking at.
The interesting aspect is going to be once they start turning over properties, and obviously we'll get a list of those properties and evaluating, particularly we're talking residential properties that we'll be able to tax in terms of what amount of taxes are we getting from those in relation to how much we've spent to be a member of the TRICOG. So that's kind of still to be determined at this particular point in time, but definitely down the road, taking a look at that to weigh that in terms of the cost and the benefit that we're getting from that. Definitely something to take a look at.
Yeah, because the list that I have, they're saying, what their intentions are, that they should have been taken care of in spring of 2018, sheriff's sales. Nothing has changed hand checks. That's was my concern. So I just don't want to be investing money into something that's not going to prosper with what, we are doing here. That's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
It's a good question, Val. We can always reevaluate everything that we're doing. I think when we did go into this, it was not going to be a quick turnaround. Sometimes you have to wait a little bit for investment on your money.
I just look at the properties that are being looked at as not major and able to take care of. That was my question.
Are you on the email list that we get from them on their
Yes.
meetings? Because we are all invited to those meetings, and I would encourage you at any time to
will.
go ahead and go to those meetings anytime that you
But
desire.
I've taken off that, so I'm still getting the emails, and I still is in conversation with.
Actually, Jesse was the representative that was assigned to TRICOG.
In 4 years, make the call.
That's what I was wondering.
4 years.
So technically, there's an opening on the TRICOG for that position because Mr. Kalkstein is no longer the representative. Anyone else? None? All right, let's move on. Comments from residents on non-agenda items. Anybody wish to address the board on a non-agenda item? No? We move on to reports. Just going to start with you, Dr. Chakey. Did you finish your water?
Nothing at this time.
Nothing? Dr. Rossi? Anything else, Mr. Schott?
Nothing further, thank you.
Mrs. Crump.
We just want to welcome all of our new staff to Gateway and officially becoming Gators and welcome them to induction on Thursday.
Mr. Ritter.
Nothing?
Mrs. Warning.
Just good luck to all the fall sports. That's it.
Mr. Lepsovich.
Nothing this evening.
Mr. Boba.
Nothing, thank you.
Mr. McIntyre.
I think I'll spare everybody Tom Waite's impression and say nothing at this time.
Okay. Mr. Galtman.
I got nothing at this time.
Mr. Williams.
Nothing to see at any time.
Mrs. Neely.
Nothing?
Wow. Dr. Short.
I always have something.
I know, thankfully.
Soon our buildings will be open to our students. I had the pleasure of being up at the high school to observe freshman orientation, met with a number of incoming students, had an opportunity to welcome them to the high school, but also provide them with a little bit of a history lesson as far as the academic excellence that comes with attending the Gateway School District and Gateway High School. High school administration did a wonderful job presenting. Students were also part of the Right Start program, welcoming students to the building for the first time. They did the tours, and it looks as if the buildings, I have to commend Mr. Brown and his workers have done an excellent job. The buildings are looking great. I happened to walk by the courtyard of the high school. It's amazing the renovation we've done inside there because we knew it was decaying a bit and we were able to take some things, power wash, repoint, so it's looking great. Students, I believe Skyward should be open tomorrow. Schedules should be available, and look forward to a wonderful start next week with our teachers on the 19th. So full speed ahead, we're ready to go.
Great. With that, I seek a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Adjourned.